Hello. I'm making another Omega video. I'm gonna try and do this one quick because I still have a little bit of schoolwork left to do for today. But I felt like playing Omega while taking a break, and man, you'll notice here in this replay tab, there's only 3 things. That's because I got rid of all the old ones that I've already made videos on, and then there were a few that I wanted to make videos on, but I decided not to, just because like I'll be too salty recording these. But what then happened is I went into casual, and I didn't play ranked. I went casual, and in 13 games in a row, I got drolled on my first search. Not to mention that in a lot of those games, I also got like Fualost, so that sucks. Or I got Peruliad, which also sucked. Or like my normal summon got impermed. But it's like, man, what am I supposed to do? Now, I've been thinking about it for a bit, but I know that I was like, oh yeah, you can make Herald of Arclight for if you're going against Draco Tail, because if you are making Herald of Arclight, Herald, if you didn't know, there it is, any monster sent from the hand or main deck to the grave is banished instead. That means the Draco Tail fusion spell that uses material from the deck, since the other material would have to come from your hand, both monsters get banished, and the Draco Tails have to go to grave in order to trigger their effect. So they get to fusion summon still, but they don't get the benefit from the monsters going to grave. Which usually just means they would like fusion summon the guy that's a bounce, and they would just bounce the Herald of Arclight. But maybe you have something to protect it, both by battle. You need something to protect it with battle, and something to protect it with like the effect. So I was thinking like if you have Murcielago on field, like if you leave that on field, your opponent needs a 2100 or more attack point monster to kill it in battle. Or if you have Ilia Sylvia, then that's the Omni Negate you could use. If you have the Diabostar Vengeance, it's a pop, so you can save it from battle kind of that way. And then worst case scenario, it is a negate that destroys as well. So I was trying to come up with a way to continue to have the canine cards, because the nice thing about the canine cards is, whenever you're using one, you're usually getting one back, because Jokul and Lantern get you like canine names, and then the spell which gives you canine names, and then they go into the Xyz, which gets you canine names. But the issue was droll, so I put in 3 copies of Salesman. Well, what ended up happening was all these games, it's like, man, I'm going up against opponents who I have no hope of winning if they droll me. Is there a way I can make Herald? Because if I can make Herald without having to search, I can negate. But then I realized, because of how droll is worded, you can't droll while Herald is on field. Which got me thinking, oh, that's interesting. So, something like, I believe Ash Blossom is fine, because it says discard. And I believe the Charmies are fine too, because they say discard. But if the hand trap says send it to the grave, you can't do it. So then my idea became, well, what ways can I make a 4 without having to search? And I didn't think long on it, but the only one I can come up with was righty driver into lefty driver, use lefty driver effect to make it a 4, and then make Herald of Arclight. It takes your normal summon, so it turns off the Astellar and the Sylvie start, but it does work for the LZ start. So it just forces you into the LZ combo. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll throw in some copies of Perulia and some copies of Ash, so that hopefully if I'm going first, I see what I need to set up droll negation or like get salesman. And if I'm going second, hopefully I draw into Izuna, Perulia, Ash. I never would. I would draw into spells that would do nothing but just get negated on the next. Like, I drew 3 salesman against a Mitsurugi player, which, by the way, watching that game, it feels so crazy that off 1 card, he got all 3 rituals, and he had back row and hand. I think he had droll in hand for my turn, which is so fun. He had the negate back row, he had some other back row I didn't know, and then he had all 3 of the rituals. which is just, man, crazy that that is a thing you can just do. So after I dealt with this crap for a while, I'm like, okay, the canine stuff in idea was nice, but it's not really working for me. So I'm keeping the deck in case anyone wants to try and make something like this work. This is the only way I thought of it working. The idea being, since you can't, I was thinking like, oh, I could just take out the cards I don't need until I get to 40, but I learned that's not the way the rule is. So instead, I'm like, okay, what cards would I want going first? I want all of these going first. I don't care for these going first. So because game one you can't guarantee you're going to go first, I figured, okay, let's play bare minimum canine with 6 hand traps. Then, assuming you lose game one, go game two, you know you're going to go first. You throw in, you replace the hand traps with the canine. So that's 6 copies right there. And then you can take out Diabels if you want. I would take out 1 copy of LZ Azamina. So that's 7, which gets you at least the case for canines and the canine names back. But it really is just like, how badly are you gonna want to side against a droll? Because you could also like remove some Diabel stars and some wanteds, but it's like, the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, man, I just hate that droll cooks this deck. So then I came up with something else. So the first thing I came up with was just this again, like same deck. And then I think it was the same list for this. Correct, same list for this. I'm gonna get rid of these because I just thought they were different, but I guess they aren't. But then I'm like, okay, let's just take the canine cards out. Let's just make it Azamina White Forest. This list does so much better, and I swear it is just because there's the Charmies, the 3 Ash, and the 3 Imperm. Like, the canine interaction is so cool, but it's like, cool, anyways, hand traps. Now I don't immediately lose on sight going second. So, with this, the goal now becomes, if you're going first, you have the full Azamina White Forest. It's like if you're lucky to go first. If you're going second, hopefully you drew Perulia or Fuelos, or like some form of interaction to hopefully stop your opponent somewhat. And Imperm works extra good in this because you can banish it for Diabellstar Vengeance, which is really nice because normally you're only having 1 usually, because if you have Mori in access, you're probably setting it and she gets banished. So you'd have to like reset it or return it to deck with Wanted on turn 3 or something, which would be okay-ish, but still not that good. But because of this, now you can main deck Herald of Arclight, because there is a combo to make it without the lefty and righty drivers, but I still put them in the side just in case. And it does take your normal summon. The line is so incredibly difficult. It's like super unlikely to happen as well, but you can do it. And I managed to make a board that is the best board I have made with this deck so far. And I was able to still get the Azamina stuff all before using the field spell. And I could have gone further, but I decided to like hold with what I had just to be a little flexible. I put in 1 extra copy of Sinful Spoilers of the White Forest and Silvera in the side, because if I know I'm going first, I side in these 4. Because I've realized that Diabels, as long as you have a Sinful Spoils card in your grave, so it could even just be you open Wanted. If you have her and you have Wanted, cool, summon her, you're immune to all the Imperms and Dominuses. So now you can't be Imperm, you can't be Dominus. Say you went Salesband 2 calling Droll, your biggest Achilles heels are gone. And if you've played your cards extra right, you can even set up an Illa Sylvia so that should your opponent try to Nibiru you, they would specifically need to have Veiler do it on your Sylvia and then use Nibiru after Veiler resolved. And then, like, if that's happening, you know, that's when stuff gets bad, but maybe you can come back depending on what your hand and your grave is at this point. But the board I was able to set up was like Saint Azamina plus Ilia Sylvia plus Queen Diabelle plus Vengeance plus Laversible plus Sinful Spoils of the White Forest, and I think, and I had Herald of Arclight. Like, oh my gosh, it's so much better. So I will really quickly show the two other games. I will say both games ended turn 2. They basically ended turn 1 because I went first. First one I did was Blue Eyes. Let's get that game speed down. So I went first, and this, I did check their list. They were playing Droll, and they were playing Imperm, and they were playing Dominus cards. And given how they played, I'm assuming they likely had some of those. Also, note the second effect of Diabelle's, where if a card is set, you can target one card you control and a card your opponent controls and pop them. Very nice. So in draw phase, we go for Wanted. I get Vengeance just because it's considered a Simple Spoils name. So I still have a target for Philia Diabelle if I get to it, but if I don't get, if I end up getting Diabelle's the White Witch and Philia Diabelle, it's just a card I can pitch. So now I have a Simple Spoils name in hand. We're going to, and we have one engraved. Boom, Diabelle's. We have Imperm and Dominus negation now. Go Sylvie. They had Effect Veiler. So I'm like, okay, this is probably going to be Blue Eyes then. So I'm like, okay, Sylvie's negated. Thankfully, we have the field spell still. So you go field spell into Elzette. Elzette, send the field spell. Grab Azamina Elzette. Azamina Elzette, summon herself. Make Reclea, no effect on her, but use the Azamina Elzette. We get the Simple Spoils of the White Forest. Make Diabelle Queen. We get back the Vengeance, so now we have a Simple Spoils, another one in hand. We pitch the field spell, and we set Deception. Then we use Sylvie, returning the Reclea to have a tribute material. So I want to keep this Diabelle here for a bit. So we use this to get Deaders because we can't go into the Dark Extra deck this turn. So now we set the Simple Spoils of the White Forest and Deaders. This does not look like much, but because I have these monsters, I can use this to summon Vengeance from hand, or I can use it to fusion. So I can decide if I want to have Chimera pop 2, draw 1, or if I want to have Vengeance pop a card and get to summon Poplar, or Silvera if I need to. Plus I have the Ilia Sylvia negate I'm going to have from Deaders, and I'm going to have the send a card for Silvera. And because I kept Diabelle on field, or Diabelle Star on field, if they set a card, then I get to pop it and Diabelle Star, and then Diabelle Star will trigger. Which just sets me more. So they go Maiden, I'm like, okay, we're gonna get Deaders to go for Ilia Sylvia. So now they have the spell, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine, I'll let them set, because setting this will trigger, so I can just pop it. So I'm gonna pop my card and theirs, and I'm gonna chain mine, and I decide I'm gonna summon. So now I have another pop. So they go for Maiden, I'm like, okay, I'll let that go. Because if I target, then, oh wait, would this work? Special Blue Eyes White Dragon. They could have summoned back another Maiden in White, so it wouldn't have mattered. I guess I could have popped Field Spell, but whatever. Or the back row, like, I'll save it. So it's here that I choose to pop the Trap. So they'll get the Field Spell, but still wish them luck. Poplar will trigger, and so the spell, I'm going to put back, because of how I did the combo, we have Elzette, Azamina Elzette, Sylvie. I normally like to keep Sylvie in grave, but I want to keep Elzette in grave, because if at any point I summon a light spellcaster tuner, then she comes back to my hand for follow-up next turn. So then immediately after I do this, I'm going to synchro summon using the spent Vengeance. So now I have Snake Eyes Vengeance. So I have an Omni Negate. I have a pushback to the grave, and I still have this to use with one of these to summon a copy of Silvera. Like, so I got Mass, Book of Moon, a pushback, and an Omni Negate. So pretty good. And, you know, like, had I played my cards right, I could have, like, sent something off this, or used this Diabell Star as the target from Diabells, and I could set a Simple Spells or something. So they concede here. On to the lab game. So this was a lab player. Once again, I gotta set the speed down. So this hand, I opened a Izuna, but now all I'm using this for is just hand trap insurance. Like, it's just in here, so that in the event my opponent hand traps me and it's not droll, I can immediately get droll protection. But playing a 3-of that functions as droll protection only if you draw it kind of sucks. So, again, it's not really that good. So we have droll protection, so I'm going to Sales Ban, call droll. Then we go Sylvie. Sylvie get Tails. Since I already had the Field Spell, get Azamina LZ. Azamina LZ, summon, make Reclea, search, send. I get Diabell's the White Witch, and get Simple Spoils, or the Seeker. Set the Tails. Go Tails for regular LZ. Go Wanted for Diabell Star. Go LZ, send the Field Spell, get a Stellar. Get Queen Diabell. Add back the Tails. Pitch the Stellar using Diabell Star. Get the Deception. Use the Sylvie to return to get a Tribute material. Get Deader since I used the Field Spell. Use this, send Tails. To then send Curse. To then add Philia. To use Philia to get Vengeance. Then banish the Curse and the Philia for Vengeance. And buff all the Diabells because they're all Diabells. So I ended turn, and my opponent, they didn't set using Stovey Torby until this turn. So I'm like, okay. So they go Stovey Torby, and they send a copy of Dimensional Barrier. So I'm like, okay, cool. You've activated my monster. I'm going to go Izuna. And now we're going to go Izuna, send the Lupus. Immediately, I'm going to make the Ripper, so I have a monster effect negate Engraver field, or Engraver hand. So I'm like, okay, and they use this, so if at any point they get a lab, they get to activate any of their traps, and this one right here is Welcome Lab. So I have no idea what this is. When they set this, I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna pop. So I pop this, it was another Dimensional Barrier, we get Poplar, then we use Poplar, we're gonna set the two girls. Here I should have put Azamina LZ instead of regular LZ, by the way. Then we're going to use Poplar to sync using the Queen, since I'm like, okay, I don't think I'm going to need the Book of Moon to make Lagacia, so I want to get a draw. Then I'm going to use Deaders to get Ilia Sylvia and pass. So everything you're about to see now is happening in freaking draw phase, by the way. Draw phase. I draw. I'm immediately gonna Vengeance pop the new set. Trapaholic, never seen this. Basically, destroy a trap, set a trap, and then if you have 3 or more traps engraved, you can activate it. He's gonna have 3 or more because he's doing this. I'm like, okay, fine. Target, he goes to activate Welcome. So I say, no, Ilia Sylvia time. So he still gets a set, so he sets Song of the Dominators. This card is going to get him a Dominus card. So I'm like, cool, Reclea. I chose to purposely not do Reclea effect, but honestly I could have and just let him Song of the Dominators of it. It wouldn't matter. He goes Big Welcome. I'm like, okay, cool. Summons Lovely, adds back to hand. He goes Stovey Torby. I'm like, okay, Ripper, you can negate this, I don't care. He negates, and he chains Lady. Gets Lady, my Ripper gets negated, he gets Impulse. I go, cool. He summons Storby. That was all draw phase. You know, main one, Ripper. It's like he's activated a card, I can get Force Released. Like, I could just get Force Released and activate it, and then he's forced to do that one card. Or I could just go Battle. Like, I can go Battle, force the Stovey Torby, and then kill that, and then, like, this is just a ton of damage on board already. And now for the game that actually ended up, like, showing off the coolest board. This is versus Tenpai. The only hand trap they had was a Magnamut, and they used it immediately, so they definitely could have screwed me up more. This hand is great because, I have Diabell Star frame 1 from Wanted, so I know to stay as a toggle on, so I can do this in draw phase. But I was like, okay, I can send the Curse of Diabell using Diabell to then get Philia, but it's like, but if I do that and they have Droll, I don't have any protection for it, and my turn stops there. It's like, okay, well, I can do it with LZ, but if I do that, then I get the LZ trigger, but I don't get the Philia Diabell because Droll. So it's like, okay, we'll get some Droll protection, and then if they don't have Droll first, if they don't Droll me immediately, then I'll just do something else. So go Diabell Star, we send an LZ, they immediately Magnamut, I set Deception, and Magnamut, it's whatever, I tribute the Diabell to get hollowed. I'm like, okay, last chance to Droll me. He doesn't Droll me, so I'm like, cool, you don't have it. So I go Murcielago, Murcielago get the spell that sets itself. I go this. I meant to pitch this, but I just clicked Imperm by mistake, but it didn't matter. Go LZ to get a Stellar because I haven't normal summoned yet. This is how you have to do it. You have to start with LZ and not use your normal summon, and you need to have 2 spells. So you need LZ plus any 2 spells or traps in order to make a Herald. And you can make the Herald super early, but if you do, you can do it like Nibiru Insurance or something. But if you do, then, oh boy, you don't lose out on so much of your extra deck. Because, I showed the extra deck, but this list is playing Saint Azamina just because you can go her, and just as long as you get her, boom, you have Ilia Sylvia too. So then now you have targeting protection from your opponent's graveyard, which does come up, and then you also have Ilia Sylvia, which is nice. Plus your opponent takes any battle damage, so that comes up too. So you normal summon the Stellar, then send a card for Sylvie. I have Philia Diabell now because of the curse, so I get that, and then use Sylvie to get the Tails. Then use the Estelar and the Sylvie, you have to use those, to make Reclea, set the Tails, and add the field spell. Tails, send itself, Estelar, summon herself back. Boom. Right now, you could go field spell, summon, or field spell, get White Witch, then use field spell, turn one of these 2 to a tuner, make Herald. Boom. That, you have Herald. But if you do, you're locked out of Darks. So instead, I'm going to Tails for LZ Azamina, then summon, make Queen Diabell, then Queen Diabell and LZ, get back the Philia Diabell, get back the Wanted that I started this with, and search Vengeance, because it is considered as simple spoils. So I am choosing to get this now. So then you go Sylvie, return the Reclea, and now you have Laversal. Then, using the Hollowed Azamina I had in Grave, I finally put back the Murcielago to get it back. And now, if you'll notice, I have 1 Simple Spoils, 2, 3. So I can send the already spent Wanted and the Vengeance to make good old Saint Azamina. Then Saint Azamina summons Ilia Sylvia. Now I go Field Spell, get Diabell's the White Witch, turn one of the girls into a tuner, make Herald. And then I set the Simple Spoils the White Forest. I can't activate Philia Diabell because I don't have a target, but that's okay. I can just banish it along with this Imperm I had. I'm like, I don't know, maybe they're playing Maid to outfit Maid Outfitter. And then this buffs the Vengeance and the Queen by 500. So this board, we have any monster sent to the grave is from hand or deck is banished instead. We have a pop, we have a steal and negate, we have Omni Negate, we have Mass Book of Moon, no targeting of their own grave, field, or banishment, and they take the damage instead of me. This, and my zones are full, so I can't do anything else. And then this is either a summon from hand, or it is fusion spell. So I put the deception back. They use this, and I'm like, oh, it's Tenpai. So they go Genroku. I'm like, I'm just not going to let you get access to that. So they Genroku. I'm like, I'm just going to destroy it. And it's gone. So now I have an open zone, too. So they were playing Tenpai and some, what they call Dragon Rulers, too, which I thought was pretty, like, okay, that's a nice idea. So they have titles. They go into Chasma, Dragon Ruler of Auroras. They did it to send blasters so they could destroy something. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to test Laversible. Because they wanted to pop the Iliosylvium. It's like, well, why would I use that when I have this? Because Laversible, he doesn't tribute his cost, by the way, so he can't be called by it, but he can be hit by other things. So then on resolution, he tributes himself to steal, and then it negates the effects of whatever I steal, which means, because this was Chain Link 1, it's negated now. So I get to keep Iliosylvium. They go Pydra, and they go for Field Spell. I'm like, yeah, sure, I don't care. And then as soon as they go Field Spell, I'm like, cool, Vengeance. Destroy it, get Poplar, then go Poplar, and they leave. Because, I mean, I still have so much more. Like, number one, they're taking any battle damage I was supposed to. Number two, I have an Omni Negate still. They have one card left. I have an Omni Negate. I have Mass Book of Moon. I have a synchro for a 12, which can either be destruction or pushing back, and if it is pushing back, as soon as they go to battle phase, I pop whatever I pushed back, and I pop another monster. There's nothing they can do. Now, again, I know that those games are all me not getting hand trapped, and especially that Tenpai game. I'm sure that if they hand trapped me at the perfect moment, it would have thrown everything away, so take everything today with a grain of salt. But I think that if you want to play Canine Azamina White Forest, one of the better builds you can do is probably going to be something similar to this. And if you're going to do just Azamina White Forest, probably something similar to this, with this as a side. Note, I am playing Nightmare Apprentice. She is unsearchable in this, but she is just that if you open her, you pitch a card to summon her, and it immediately gets you access to Diabells. So, in some hands, you can have this for Droll protection and Diabells for Imperm and Dominus protection, which is pretty nice. These are just in here as well to side in, because going second, you don't really want these Charmies in hand, so you just swap the Charmies, these 6 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could alternatively swap out 4 of them for these, and then the other 2 for like this, and maybe another White Forest or a Silvera, but it's whatever. Anyways, if you watched the video and you liked it, I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, remember to drink some water and have a good day. Bye.